I hope you're familiar with dimensions 1, 2, and 3, but I doubt you're familiar with dimension 4. Dimension 4 is quite an interesting dimension. You see, in a two-dimensional world, if you were to slide a three-dimensional object through it, you would get for example, a sphere. If you were to slide a sphere through a two-dimensional world, you would observe that a circle would start to grow. That circle would start off very small, then it would slightly grow ever so slightly larger, and larger and larger and larger until it met the point where it was bisected exactly in the middle. And then it would begin to shrink again until it passed out of that plane. Now, sight is an interesting concept. You could see, we live in 3 dimensions, and we see two-dimensionally. So, if you were in a two-dimensional world, you would see one-dimensionally. One-dimensionally is a line, so you would see in a line. So, the best way we could represent this would be sort of a ribbon. And you might wonder, well, how could you possibly distinguish the differences in shade, or the differences in depth with just a ribbon? Well, since you're only in a two-dimensional world, the sort of appearance of a circle from the side could be represented with how the light falls on the object. You could even have colors and so on, so it would be best represented by looking at ribbons. You could still learn information from this. But what about 4 dimensions? How would a 4-dimensional sphere look if it was slid into our world? Well, it would begin as a small sphere and grow until it reached the point of bisection with our 3-dimensional world, and then it would shrink until it disappeared. Now, one question I found extremely interesting is, what if there were 2-dimensional beings? That would be an extremely curious thing. 2-dimensional beings would be able to live in a 2-dimensional world. That is one representation of a 2-dimensional creature. They would move along a flat plane rather than in 3 dimensions. I think it would be quite interesting to hear a story about such creatures.